What if I told you there's a place where time, logic, and reason seem to vanish? A location so guarded, so off-limits, that even asking questions about it feels dangerous. No, this isn't some movie plot, though Hollywood has tried to decode it for decades. This is real. Welcome to the infamous Area 51. Not just a forgotten patch of desert in Nevada, but a symbol of secrecy, conspiracy, and technology far beyond what we're told. The deeper you dive, the stranger it gets. How do you explain a military base that didn't exist for decades? How do you trust official stories that keep changing? And why would the US government pour billions into sensors, surveillance systems, and armed security for a site they long claimed was just empty land? Something doesn't add up. Something's been hidden too well for too long. In this video, we're going straight into the heart of the mystery. We'll peel back the layers of secrecy, uncover forgotten events, and reveal why Area 51 might be the biggest secret America has ever tried to bury. Get ready, not for fiction, but for truths that might be even stranger. Few people know this, but the creation of the infamous Area 51 has a very specific date and place. 1955, right in the middle of the Nevada desert, in a forgotten stretch of land called Groom Lake. Yes, at the height of the Cold War, the US government decided to hide one of its most confidential projects in the middle of nowhere. And it's no exaggeration to say middle of nowhere. To this day, the area remains inaccessible to the general public. It was built to be invisible, both to prying eyes and uncomfortable questions. The choice of location wasn't random. Groom Lake was ideal. Flat, dry, isolated, and far from prying eyes. And when the US government wants to hide something, they don't mess around. Everything there was designed with almost paranoid precision. It's as if every grain of sand knew it had to keep a secret. Anyone daring to approach must face a security system that puts most spy movies to shame. We're not just talking about ordinary cameras or alarms. We're talking thermal sensors, motion detectors, cutting-edge technology, and a very clear policy. Trespass, and you may not come back. Signs around the perimeter warn of the use of deadly force. Then there are the vehicles that appear out of nowhere, the silent drones, and the invisible eyes watching everything. It's like the land itself breathes surveillance. The security at Area 51 is so extreme, it borders on absurd. There are no electric fences or massive walls like in the movies, but there are signs that make it crystal clear. Proceed, and your life is at risk. That alone says a lot about what's being protected inside, and it's this lack of visible barriers that actually creates more mystery. It's like even the absence was part of the intimidation strategy. Buried around the base are sensors that can detect something as small as a coyote's footsteps. This mix of geographical isolation, high-end technology, and human surveillance makes the place practically untouchable. And that's the real intrigue. What on earth justifies that level of protection? Nobody spends billions on thermal sensors and elite patrols unless there's something seriously valuable, or seriously strange, being kept under wraps. Roswell was the spark that lit the fire. In 1947, something crashed on a ranch in New Mexico. The military showed up too fast, scooped everything up too quietly, and offered explanations that were too vague. Initially, they said it was a flying disc. Then, they changed the story to a weather balloon. But the damage was done. Distrust spread like wildfire. Here's where Area 51 enters the picture. Many theorists claim the wreckage, and even alien bodies, were transported to what would later become Area 51. Yes, before it even officially existed. So maybe the base was created for the very purpose of housing the Roswell evidence. It's not as far-fetched as it sounds when you line up the dates and listen to military whistleblowers. That event ignited decades of speculation about extraterrestrial life, secret tech, and government cover-ups. This isn't just about believing in aliens. It's about questioning what governments do when no one is watching. Roswell became the symbol of official silence, and Area 51, the stage where that silence could live on uninterrupted. In 1968, a Soviet satellite captured the first public image of Area 51. What had only been whispers now had a face. The photo revealed runways, hangars, and a structure that looked more like a hidden city than a military base. Denial was no longer an option. And the fact that this revelation came not from an American leak, but from a foreign satellite, made it all the more dramatic. That image transformed Area 51 from rumor to reality. Suddenly, people had more questions than answers. What were those giant runways for? Why were the facilities expanding in such a remote place? Were they testing aircraft, or something even quieter and faster? The speculation exploded, and with it, so did the myth. Funny how a grainy black and white photo could cause so much noise. But that's the thing. When information is scarce, imagination takes over. And when it comes to Area 51, imagination became the norm. Every hidden detail feeds a new theory, and every official silence feels like a quiet confirmation. From what we do know, Area 51 has long been a military innovation hub. Iconic aircraft like the SR-71 Blackbird and prototypes of the F-117 Nighthawk are believed to have been developed there. These were stealth planes that redefined modern warfare. In other words, this base gave birth to technologies that shaped history. But is that all? Many believe there's more. Some say alien spacecraft were also studied there, recovered from crashes like Roswell. The goal? Reverse engineering otherworldly tech to build superweapons. Sounds like sci-fi? Maybe. But even Hollywood couldn't resist. Films like Independence Day and shows like The X-Files drew heavily from these rumors. Whether alien or not, the tech coming out of Area 51 is undeniably ahead of its time. The aircraft that emerged from there flew higher, faster, and more silently than anything seen before. That alone is chilling. But what if those advances weren't purely human in origin? Robert Lazar burst onto the scene in the late 80s, claiming he had worked at Area 51, specifically at a section called S4. According to him, underground hangars with up to 10 levels housed alien spacecraft being reverse engineered. His claims shocked the world and split opinions right down the middle. Lazar described technical details about gravitational propulsion that even some physicists found intriguing. He wasn't some random guy off the street. He spoke with the precision of someone who knew what he was talking about. And despite attempts to erase his academic and professional history, his story endured. That persistence only added to his credibility in the eyes of many. Lazar's claims didn't just stir curiosity, they ignited a movement. Suddenly, Area 51 was back in the spotlight. If he was telling the truth, then what else could be hidden down there? Even without physical proof, his story was so compelling, it reshaped public perception and inspired a new wave of documentaries and debates. For years, the US government pretended Area 51 didn't exist. It wasn't on maps, it wasn't acknowledged in statements. It was as if it had been scrubbed from reality. But in 1994, under legal pressure from former employees and local residents, they finally admitted it. Why? Because people were getting sick from toxic waste disposal near the site. That official acknowledgement felt like a small crack in a giant wall. After decades of denial, people began asking, if they hid the base itself, what else have they hidden? The confession raised more questions than it answered. It was like opening a door only to find another hallway of shadows. Reports of respiratory issues, skin burns, and even deaths linked to strange substances burned in the area forced the government's hand. When the law steps in, some secrets have to come out. But even then, what was revealed was likely just the tip of the iceberg. Without a doubt, Area 51 is a hub of innovation. Stealth jets, radar-defying aircraft, and other futuristic military prototypes have all been born there. It is almost like the base operates in a time loop, where tomorrow's tech is tested today. If you work there, you see the future before the world does. Despite all the speculation, no official documents confirm alien involvement. But even the normal advancements that come out of that place are wild enough to boggle the mind. When it comes to top-tier espionage, Area 51 remains one of the world's most critical strongholds. The lack of transparency makes it easy for theories to thrive. And in that vacuum of information, every theory, no matter how outlandish, gets a chance to breathe. It's the perfect storm: a silent base, wild rumors, and just enough truth to keep the flames alive. Boyd Bushman, a Lockheed Martin engineer, claimed to have worked at Area 51 and presented images of what he said were aliens. Big heads, dark eyes, tiny bodies, the usual depiction. For a moment, the world held its breath. Was this the moment of truth? Soon after, it was discovered that the alien was just a toy sold in stores. Did that destroy Bushman's credibility? Not entirely. Some believe he was set up or trying to send a coded message. After all, even a lie can hint at a deeper truth. And in the world of Area 51, nothing is ever black and white. Bushman's story proved one thing: even fake evidence keeps the fire burning. Because Area 51's mystery doesn't rely on facts alone. It thrives on doubt. A single blurry photo or strange quote is enough to keep the legend alive. And speaking of blurry images, in 2008, long-range lenses captured rare footage of Area 51. You could see planes landing, cars moving, even strange lights in the sky. But the quality was so poor, it created more questions than answers. Still, the internet went wild, and the videos spread like wildfire. The truth? Most videos online about Area 51 are fake, heavily edited, or taken out of context. Entire YouTube channels are dedicated to debunking them. But that doesn't stop thousands from watching and believing. Because in the end, the mystery is more addictive than the truth. And imagination more powerful than any proof. These clips, even when weak, keep the story alive. The more you watch, the more you want to know. The less you understand, the more you're willing to believe. It's a never-ending cycle. And Area 51 stays etched in our minds, not for what it reveals, but for what it refuses to show. Now that you've uncovered the secrets surrounding Area 51, tell me, do you really believe it's all just coincidence? Decades of silence, extreme security, and official contradictions, are those just standard procedure? Or are we standing at the edge of a truth far bigger than we were ready to face? You might never know the full answer, but ignoring it is like choosing to live with your eyes closed. What do you believe about Area 51? That it's just a top-secret military test site? Or could it truly be hiding things not of this world? Is the truth out there, or right in front of us, hidden under layers of denial? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your theory, and most importantly, don't stop here. The universe is too vast to settle for simple answers. If this video sparked your curiosity, made you think differently, or challenged what you thought you knew, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because the next video, we're going even deeper. See you there, or maybe they're already watching us.